strategy number two. So we got to realize we need to get engaged in building wealth, and that's going to allow us to save tax and build wealth at the same time. That's how the rich get richer. We need a trifecta to build upon, to understand that would be step number two, and to have active planning sessions. And I'll give all of you a network of accountants and lawyers that speak my language. I don't make any money on that. I've been training professionals now. I've turned my gaze to the professional community because the accounting industry is on fire. Accountants are leaving the industry in droves. They're burned out. They're scared of AI. Kids are not going into the accounting programs. Enrollment's down because they think it's a dead-end job and boring and frustrating. And it's not. It is the backbone of Main Street America, is having a good relationship with an accountant and a lawyer that understands business. So I'll give you some resources here in a little bit. I want you to feel like there's going to be some good podcasts to listen to, because you've got to have that weekly little dose of tax and legal. This is what the rich geek out on. You want to go to a dinner party and talk to wealthy people, they're going to be talking about their tax strategies. They love it. It's like shopping. Here, let me show you how much money I've saved. So
it's so funny you say that, Mark. I gotta jump in really quick, because literally what my wife and I love to do in the car, and I know this sounds really crazy, but we just, like, when we're in the car together somewhere and when we're, and we're driving long distance, guess what we'll do? We'll throw your podcast on and we'll listen to your podcast and we'll just bounce ideas back and forth. We're like, yeah, we really should add that to what we're doing. And it's an awesome way to go deep. So I love your podcast. By the way, why don't you tell everybody what your podcast is so they can go listen to it?
You bet. Main Street podcast, the Main Street Business Podcast. You just go to any of your Stitcher or iTunes or Spotify and just type in Main Street Business and you'll see it pop right up. Millions of downloads. And we're going to talk about business and tax and legal and marketing and wealth creation and all those little things that relate to Main Street. And so Main Street Business Podcast, if you just put me in YouTube, thousands of videos and downloads there too. And I go live on YouTube every week, answer questions. And sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think to ask that question. So it's a community and we want you to get engaged there. Now, okay, so let's say you're a brand new business owner. Let's talk about both sides for a minute. Could we? So we're going to talk about structure and asset protection and the real estate piece. But for those that have an operational business, let's get one of the key strategies off the table. And Michael, you know where I'm going. Let's explain this S Corp for just a moment. We could spend a whole hour on this or more, but let's just get it on the table. And some of you, you're gonna go, oh my gosh, I gotta have a call with my accountant or get a new accountant when I hear this. So on the operations side, so on the left side, many of you might start out as just a sole proprietorship. That's great. Go out and test your idea, start making some money. You might be a brand new, again, dentist or realtor or online marketer, affiliate. And then you might set up an LLC. That's cool. These do not save taxes. LLCs do not save taxes. It's a structure. We're going to get an EIN. We want to brand ourselves. We want a website, a bank account. That's great. We got to start there. But what happens is when you start to make money in this, let's say you bring in $100,000 and apples to apples, and you have 25 grand in expenses. 25 grand in expenses, cell phone, dining, travel, auto, all those goodies. And we're starting to save tax. Because what happens, here's the trick, the trick. You're making money and then taking a haircut before you pay taxes. That's step one. If you have a W-2 day job, you make money, you pay tax. There's no additional write-offs that you get to take. So now my effective tax rate goes down. We're going to talk about how to eliminate it entirely. But step one is I got to make some money to go build my assets, to create cash flow, to build wealth, to borrow again, and I get that machine going. So this is the fuel to get that machine started. So I get my entity going, and I'm out there, and I net 75 grand. So I make $75,000. Right? Pretty simple. Bring in 100 grand, spend 25 on writing off everything under the sun. We're going to put kids on payroll, all these goodies. 75 grand net. Well, the first tax is called self-employment tax, or FICA. What the FICA? We hate the F word, FICA. And this is Medicare and Social Security. And we're going to pay 15% in every state in the country. No way around it. So that's going to be, well, I've got some way around it.
I was just going to say, you have a way around it.
In this structure, there's no way around it. And so right. We have 15% here. So all of a sudden, we're paying 10 grand in self-employment tax. Then you're going to pay federal and state tax. You might be in one of the 9 states that has no state tax, but you could be as high as 13% in California, New York, or Illinois. So, oh my gosh, it adds up quick. So we're going to have federal and state, which could be another 25 to 30%. Now, we're taking almost a 40% haircut in taxes with no planning. And you're like, well, I set up an LLC. I watched LegalZoom. They said set up an LLC. There's no tax savings. So strategy number one on this operational side is we're going to get our clients to transition to an S corporation. And I'll tell you when the break-even point for this is, but we're going to just leave it at this. This is a survey. I've got, course, we're just talking 30,000 view. I've got this in my books. You can listen more on my podcast or my YouTube channel. But this S Corp, we're going to make the same 100 grand, spend the same 25 in expenses, net 75, but now I split it. And I'm going to take part W-2 and part K-1. And that's kind of like the profit. And when I cut this in half, now I only pay FICA on this W-2. So W-2 becomes a part of the business expense. And so now I have 37,000 in profit, but I also have a paycheck. You make the same amount of money. We're just going to label it differently. So now I've got this two pieces and I just only pay FICA on this half. I just saved $5,000. So I saved $5,000. Now that $5,000 could be part of a real estate project in the future. I could fund my Roth IRA. I could use this $5,000. Then I'm going to start using more strategies to eliminate this income altogether. So this is the first starting point. So every dentist, doctor, realtor, broker, small business owner, online marketer, entertainer, NIL athlete, we're going to be an S Corp. And we're going to start saving on self-employment tax. And when I do that, I go back to my trifecta. This S Corp starts to kick out profit at a lower tax rate. And I have a W-2, so I look beautiful to the bank. And I can start borrowing more effectively with lower interest rates. And I'm going to take this money and deploy it over here. I'm going to live on, and Michael teaches incredible math of living on less, investing more. And if I can eliminate your taxes, it gives you more to invest. Then your assets create more wealth and kick out cash flow, generally tax-free. So we want to create this tax-free wealth over here by feeding our money over here. And this S corporation is where we're going to do it. I'm an S Corp. Michael's an S Corp. We're all, anybody, and here's the break even. Once you start making over $50,000 a year in your operations, we want an S Corp. So start as an LLC, then we're going to convert it. Now it's super expensive to convert from an LLC to an S Corp. We charge about $300. So it's very, very expensive. Gotta buckle up. But you're going to save so much in money having this S Corp, building wealth. That's strategy 5 or 10 or whatever. But I've got 30 strategies in my ultimate guide. But this is one of the key strategies to start that equation. So there, we can go wherever we go next over here, wherever you want, Michael.
Club Wealth is the only coaching company on the planet that will literally guarantee that you will double your income or make at least an extra $100,000 your first year coaching with us, or we will give you 100% of your investment back. Click the link below, sign up for the appropriate tier level, and let's get you a strategy session today. And I promise you, I 100% guarantee you, promise you that you will walk away with a heart full of gratitude for the time that we took for you because you got so much value out of that call. Schedule your strategy session today. I promise you'll be glad you did.